Hello, you guys. What's up? It's that WD, the Wrestle Dude, and here today I have an update for you guys on a series that happened on my last channel before that channel was wrongfully deleted, might I add. And that is the NXT Universe Mode. It is a Universe Mode. It was really my pride and joy. It was the one series that I had been doing ever since I started that channel back in 2012, and I put so much effort to it, so many stories, so many characters, so many plot lines and stuff like that. And then it all got deleted, and we were heading towards our next NXT Takeover event. A lot of stuff was building up. One of the matches before that universe mode was deleted was Hideo Itami versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'll talk about what that matchup entailed here later on, but I will be continuing the NXT Universe mode on this channel. So here we are going to go to the NXT Universe mode. Some matches here, they were already recorded and edited and then sent up to the last channel before it was deleted. So we had Bobby Roode versus Oney Lorcan, and then we had American Alpha versus Heavy Machinery, Austin Aries versus Samoa Joe, No Way Jose versus the Brian Kendrick. That was kind of a throwaway match just to uh, get a space in. And then we had a promo between Braun Strowman and Hideo Itami, which I'll talk about that later on. And then we had a brawl between the two, and Austin Aries apparently injured. So talking about the NXT Universe mode, everything was surmounting. We were heading towards. It was actually kind of ironic. My channel got shut down, and it's kind of ironic because we were heading towards our next NXT Takeover event was NXT Takeover the End. So I don't know if YouTube just kind of saw that and was like, all right, well, I guess this guy's stopping his channel. We might as well do it for him. So um, that's our next NXT Takeover event, and you see how close we were. We were friggin' just a few episodes away. So the thing what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna skip these two shows because it'd make no sense just to friggin' have like really it'd just be like this one show of Resurgence, which Resurgence is the all women's show that I have for the Universe mode. So I have NXT and I have Resurgence, and they both have done really well. The main rivalry on Resurgence that I have set up after NXT Takeover is Bayley and Asuka. So we're just gonna skip right to NXT Takeover, and that's gonna be our first episode for the Universe Mode, starting it off on this channel. Now I'm gonna run down the card for that NXT Takeover event, um, or at least what it was going to be before the channel got shut down. So really, I mean, I guess this is going to be sort of like a good reset. If there was anything that I wanted to change, like I had the hardcore title as an NXT title, which I thought was kind of weird, but I was already starting to phase it out. Um, what else was there? I had the Internet Championship that I had created, but I phased that out really well. I just said that the guy holding the championship was fired because he lost a match and he like threw the championship into like the ocean, so it was never seen again. So that took out that championship. So now the only championships that we have are the tag team championships, the NXT championship, and then on the women's show we have the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, which all the championships heading into this new universe mode will get that update that they had on WWE's television. So we'll be getting the new NXT Championship and NXT Women's Championship and NXT Tag Team Championships come NXT Takeover the End. So, speaking of which, I'm going to get into the card for that matchup. So we have a 4-match card for that pay-per-view. Or not pay-per-view, just episode that'll start us off on the universe mode. I'm going to make this as quick as possible so you're not sitting here all day listening to this video. The first matchup is going to be for the NXT Tag Team titles. It'll be American Alpha versus the Revival. They've been having sort of like this back and forth like rivalry. American Alpha have been having like very competitive matches against other tag teams and winning fairly. The Revival, they've gotten to this NXT Championship match by beating teams dirty and winning by countout. They actually got the number one contendership by beating American Alpha via countout because both tag team partners were keeping Chad Gable on the outside for the count of 10. So that's how they got the tag team title match. Coming up next, we have a debuting superstar facing off against Andrade Cien Almas. That debuting superstar, I know he's already debuted on NXT in real life, but he hasn't debuted in the universe mode yet. That is going to be Roderick Strong. So Andrade Cien Almas will face off against Roderick Strong. I'm thinking about putting together like a little promo package for like Andrade's, or not Andrade's, Roderick Strong's debut, so that'll be pretty fun. Coming up next, our co-main event, we have Finn Balor versus AJ Styles in a no-holds-bar match. Now, this one has quite a bit of story behind it. So, this goes back all the way to the very beginning of my NXT Universe mode, or at least a little bit back in the beginning. Finn Balor became a babyface, and he got into a rivalry with Wade Barrett and Kane, who were on the show because at the time the Authority was running NXT, so Kane and some upper superstars would come down to NXT and they would teach the rookies a lesson. Wade Barrett, obviously the winner of NXT Season 1, back when it was a reality show. So Finn Balor was in a tag team match at a pay-per-view against Kane and Wade Barrett. He would bring out AJ Styles, and they would beat Wade Barrett and Kane, and then a future storyline will go on where William Regal defeated Triple H, so he got control of NXT, so that made William Regal the GM of NXT, so I'm technically the commissioner of NXT. So really, where was I going with this? I completely forgot. Oh yeah, AJ Styles and Finn Balor, they were in NXT. They immediately turned heel by attacking the NXT champion Zack Ryder. Yes, I know, Zack Ryder might not be the best idea for an NXT champion, but if you watch the storylines that I did back then, trust me, you would love him as the NXT champion. And they brought in Anderson and Gallows. I made them look like a badass faction. We went to an NXT TakeOver event. With them at a pay-per-view. Finn Balor injured Sami Zayn, who was facing Zack Ryder for the NXT Championship. Finn would go on to beat Zack Ryder for the NXT Championship in a great match. And ever since then, Finn's been having, he's been a heel, but he's still been having great matches. He defeated Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn for the NXT Championship. Not by any bad means, but then again, it was the Demon, so it was a very more aggressive side. Now, getting into the part where AJ Styles turned on him and why Anderson and Gallows won't be getting involved in this matchup, I can tell you that personally. Um, I did a tag team match where it was the Bullet Club, and I did call them the Bullet Club. I didn't call them the Club or the Balor Club or something like that. It was, but it was Anderson, Gallows, and Balor against Bobby Roode, Ty Dillinger, and Sami Zayn. And William Regal said that if the Bullet Club lose, then not only will Finn Balor defend his championship against Bobby Roode, then if any members of the Bullet Club lose a match, they will be gone from NXT. And at this point, Anderson and Gallows were the tag team champions. So Bobby Roode faced Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver London in a ladder match for the NXT Championship. Anderson and Gallows lost the tag team titles, obviously, to American Alpha, so they are gone from NXT, so they cannot appear. I mean, they can appear in the crowd, but I don't know if I'll do that. But they won't be making any interference at NXT TakeOver in AJ versus Finn Balor's match. So speaking of AJ and Finn, in the main event, when it was Roode versus Finn Balor, Finn Balor had Bobby Roode laid out. He was climbing the ladder. AJ came out. He was like at first cheering him on, and then he shoves the ladder over. Finn Balor falls off the ladder. AJ takes him over to the announce table, gives him a Styles Clash through the announcer's table. Bobby Roode goes up, tries to get the championship, but somehow, someway, Finn Balor comes back, and he still retains the NXT championship despite the fact that AJ Styles tried to screw him out of the championship. Then AJ and Finn Balor would have a match on NXT. It was a regular match, and it ended in a double countout, but the fight would continue backstage. Thus, both men were thrown out of NXT, but I thought that was kind of a lame way to end the story because I really didn't want it to end on a double countout. So I said, you know what? We're just gonna have a rematch at NXT TakeOver the End, and it's going to be no holds barred, which I highly doubt either man is going to use a weapon because they want this to be a definitive win, and I'm pretty sure they're just going to beat the living crap out of each other anyway, so it'll be pretty cool, and I'm sure the Demon will show up. I don't know what version of the Demon. Um, and the thing about that match and both men being thrown out of NXT was Finn Balor at this time was still the NXT champion. So when AJ and Finn Balor got thrown out of NXT, Finn Balor had to give up the NXT championship. So that brings us to this right here. There was a tournament set in place. I don't know if I still have the remnants of it. I might. But I set up an NXT championship tournament to determine a new NXT champion, and I still haven't done that tournament match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Hideo Itami on here, but I did do it on the actual universe mode itself, and you can see that full matchup on the YouTube channel. I'll probably have a link on the screen up on the little title card in the side for you to watch after this. But yeah, the finals is going to be Braun Strowman versus Hideo Itami for the NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver the End. That's going to be the main event. Yeah, like I said, Braun Strowman's been running through everybody, and it started with Sami Zayn. Everyone knows the rivalry between Braun Strowman and Sami from Monday Night Raw. I kind of brought it over here to the universe mode. Ty Dillinger was beaten by him. Then Ty and Sami had a handicap tag team match with Braun Strowman. Braun would beat him with a double choke slam, and then this week, Hideo and him had a talk, which turned into a brawl with Braun getting taken down for a little bit, and then he came back and beat down Hideo Itami as Hideo was trying to go for the GTS. I'll probably do like a promo package to put together for the pay-per-view, but for now, that's the story. And on Hideo's end, I really went with that like comeback story, like Hideo, this guy who has been injury-prone in NXT in real life. So I kind of brought that over here, and he's been having like some big wins. He hasn't been using the GTS that much. He's kind of been using like kicks and submission holds sometimes. Beating Bobby Roode, he used a roll-up pin. He reversed the glorious DDT and beat him with a roll-up pin. Hideo Itami beat Shinsuke Nakamura with a GTS. I know that kind of spoils the match that I said to go watch, but I mean, obviously Shinsuke Nakamura isn't in the finals if I just said Hideo Itami is facing Braun Strowman at NXT TakeOver at the end. So I guess that only makes sense, but it's still a great match to watch. So what does that all cover? So yeah, that pretty much covers the card for NXT TakeOver the End. And I'll probably do another catch-up video, especially for the women's show, because the women's show right now has a storyline that is quite more complicated. But then again, with everything, it'll probably be easier to kind of like reset after this. Like if there were any ideas that I thought were kind of stupid in the last version of this, then I can go back and I can do something different. I know there was a couple like created wrestlers that I had on some NXT shows that I kind of want to get rid of. But some of them I might keep around. Some of them I might just get rid of, and maybe I'll even start them again somewhere down the line where I think they'll fit even better. So yeah, the women's show is actually quite a little bit harder to explain right now. Some of the wrestlers and stuff. I can show you some of the superstars. Abby, that's a superstar based on a close friend of mine of the same name. Her whole gimmick is that she's a huge fan of Captain America, and she gets into the ring and she has the strength of Captain America. She has like the discus clothesline, which I put as like her throwing Captain America's shield, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's see, Alexa, Leah, oh yeah, and Asuka is the NXT Women's Champion, obviously. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce are the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, which is another thing. I kind of want to create some more tag teams for the women's division. And I'll probably have some more superstars debut. Oh yeah, also Nia Jax is the NXT Mrs. Money in the Bank, so she can cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase anytime, any place, and become champion. Then we have like Ruby Riott and stuff, and that's superstars that I kind of want to introduce into the series, like Ruby Riott and stuff. And maybe if you guys have some community creations of like wrestlers, female wrestlers, I encourage female wrestlers if you want to see them on the show. Probably nothing in anything major, but it's still some good publicity. Like I could use some squash match wrestlers and stuff. But if you guys have anything for me, let me know, and just give me the tags, and I'll go and download them. But yeah, really, that's pretty much it. That's us getting caught up for NXT Takeover at the end, and well, I guess I can kind of go into Resurgence. Um, Really, the only main stories that I have going around on Resurgence, like obviously Nia Jax is the women's Mrs. Money in the Bank. She won that in a ladder match. I really wish I had the footage saved from that because that was a great ladder match. And really, like I said, the only big story going around involves Bayley. And Bayley's big story has been there was a tournament a while back when I had Paige taken off of the universe mode. This was way before like the real life stuff happened with Paige. So I took her off the universe mode. This was like in WWE 2K. Was it 2K14 or 2K15? I want to say 2K14. Yeah, I think it was 2K14. So I took her off the universe mode so that way I could bring in the newer breed of women. So I had a tournament to determine the new NXT Women's Champion. Asuka won that. So Asuka's been holding that championship ever since WWE 2K15. So she's been holding it for quite a while. Um, yeah, I'm surprised by that too. So she's been holding it for quite a while. Bayley and Asuka have having these great back and forth matches. Um, Bayley's been losing all of them, but she's been putting up some hell of an effort. And then the last championship match that they had, a debuting Ember Moon. Ember Moon debuted earlier in the night. Ember Moon came out during the main event. The referee was knocked down, and she hit Bayley with the Eclipse. In this game, I just used the blockbuster off the top rope because there's no like top rope stunner. I wish there was. I'm glad that she's in 2K17, so I can have the actual Ember Moon. Bobby Roode too. I'm excited for that. So Bayley lost that match, and afterwards she was crying. Afterwards, I did like the cutscene where like it shows her like giving a wave to the crowd goodbye, and she's like standing on the stage. And she's been gone for a few weeks. Ember Moon and Nia Jax has kind of been the focal point leading up to NXT Takeover: The Case, which is the Money in the Bank themed one for NXT. And in the NXT Money in the Bank ladder match, Ember Moon was beating up Becky Lynch on the stage, and all of a sudden Bayley runs out and gives Ember Moon Bayley to bellies on the steel ramp, which brings it down to Abby, the Captain America girl from earlier, and Nia Jax, who they were kind of having a mini feud with, and Nia Jax shoved Abby off the ladder and became Mrs. Money in the Bank. So now coming back, Bayley wants to get back to Asuka and the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka hasn't been on Resurgence because she says like, obviously nobody's ready for Asuka. I don't have any competition on here. I'm not going to be on this show until I find some competition or until I see someone who's worthy to face me. So Bayley has said, I want to get back to the NXT Women's Championship, but first, I'm going to get my hands on Ember Moon. So week to week, she's been having great matches with some of the four horsewomen that are still on this show. The only three of the four horsewomen that I have still on Resurgence, which I think I'll kind of slide them out here in a little while, are Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. Bayley versus Sasha is a match that I have on the channel that you can go and watch right now. I'll probably have that in the title, in a little title card too. Um, yeah. So I had Bayley beat Becky Lynch with a bear hug, or like a, because Bayley's whole gimmick is that she's a hugger. So she beat her with a bear hug, and she beat Alexa, or she beat Alexa. Sorry, I'm just seeing Alexa Bliss's name on there. But she beat Becky Lynch with a bear hug. She beat Sasha Banks with a Macho Man elbow. So I'm really trying to build up her repertoire. And then on what this episode would have been, Bayley would have faced Ember Moon and beaten Ember Moon. Now I know some people may think that's stupid. Why would you have Bayley beat Ember Moon? She's supposed to be this total badass. I mean, in the long run, It's all about Bayley versus Asuka. And if Bayley can beat the woman that cost, some people said on the Universe Mode on my last channel, some people said Ember Moon cost Bayley the NXT Women's Championship. If Ember didn't get involved, Bayley would have won the championship. If Bayley can beat Ember, that proves that she's ready to face Asuka, and then we can move forward. And at the next NXT Takeover event for the women's division, um, we can have Bayley versus Asuka one more time. So that's what I'm all building to. So, yeah, that gets us up to speed on NXT, and that gets us up to speed on Resurgence heading into our NXT Takeover event. I've been the Wrestle Dude. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you stick around for the first episode of this new NXT Universe Mode here on the Wrestle Dude channel. My old channel is gone, but definitely not forgotten, and definitely not the remnants of the NXT Universe Mode. I'm sticking with it here on 2K17, and I'm sticking with it heading forward on 2K18. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. What are you most excited about for 2K18? And do you have any suggestions for the Universe Mode? Do you have any creative wrestlers you want to see on the show? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.